But first, reporter Phil Bergman will tell us what the polls look like today in light of the pandemic. There are several Nebraska races attracting attention, including the contest to represent Omaha in Congress. The 2018 Democratic nominee, Kara Eastman, faces North Omaha businesswoman Gladys Harrison and Ann Ashford, who is an attorney and wife of former Congressman Brad Ashford. The winner will face the winner of the Republican primary. It includes current Congressman Don Bacon. The incumbent faces retired railroad worker and former Navy seaman Paul Anderson in today's primary. In Nebraska, 1st Congressional District, Democrats Kate Bowles and Babs Ramsey are squaring off to face incumbent Republican Jeff Fortenberry. 7 Democrats are competing for the U.S. Senate seat held by Republican Ben Sasse. He faces a primary challenge from Matt Innes. Other primary races include 4 Douglas County board positions, 5 Omaha Public School Board spots, and mayoral contests in Bennington, Ralston, and Valley. Reporter Phil Bergman is live outside the precinct at Elkhorn South High School with an idea of what the polling places look like today amid the pandemic. Phil?
Good evening, Jenny. We've seen a few people come into this precinct at Elkhorn South behind me today. There are 3 precincts in here. So far, around 170 people total have come to place their votes at these 3 precincts. While the voter numbers may be low here, this is not the case across the region. In fact, it has been the exact opposite.
Normally, Burke High is one of the busier polling places in Omaha. This morning, it sat nearly empty with only 9 voters over its first 3 hours.
Oh, by far, this is the slowest we've ever been.
The same was true across town at Elkhorn South. A lunch crowd brought in some people, but the 3 precincts inside the cafeteria combined for only 50 voters over its first half of the day.
We've been hearing out there that it's very, very quiet. So we think the voters of Douglas County have heeded the warning to do the early voting and to stay home, stay healthy, and keep themselves and our poll workers healthy.
Brent Roberts was one of the people out voting in person. Tuesday marked the 28-year-old's first time voting.
No, I wanted to do it in person, being my first time, and I just lived pretty close, so figured I'd just make the trip over.
Despite the low in-person presence, the mail-in boxes had a steady line of cars. The county's already received more than 108,000 mail-in ballots and is predicting a 35% overall turnout for this election.
This is going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, primary we've had in the state in modern history, and it's all because of that early voting.
All races included seats in the U.S. House, the unicameral, and district school boards. Voters also had the chance to voice their opinion on whether the city should issue $200 million in bonds to fund street maintenance.
I was interested in the road updates that Mayor Stothert was putting through or trying to put through.
And she encouraged us to get out and vote for the streets, and so I wanted to make sure I supported her in that.
At the polling places, voters kept social distances and hand sanitizer and masks were readily available. Voters I talked to said it was their civic duty to place their vote, whether in person or through the mail.
I mean, if you want to have a voice in this country, we still are a free country here, and we get the opportunity to vote. It's very important that you take that action.
It's not going to be like this in a couple of years, so what happens now is going to affect our future.
And polling places across the area are still open until 8 p.m., so you still have time to come out and vote as well. If you have a mail-in-mail election, you can send that to an election commission drop box until 8 p.m. tonight. Reporting outside Elkhorn South High School, Phil Bergman, 3 News Now.